So now we're going to address some of the common violations of academic integrity we see here with our business graduate students. Without naming names, of course, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some situations that we have had in the last few years in the School of Business and what some of the common pitfalls for our particular student group are. So hopefully you can avoid these things as you go forward. And so this is honestly probably going to be the most valuable to you out of this series of videos, because this is really your what not to do portion of this. So here you're going to see some of the most common violations university-wide, but really I'm going to focus on the ones here that are most common for our business graduate students. And so probably our top one would be our unauthorized collaboration. And so unauthorized collaboration is basically when you work together, whether it's with students in the class with you right now, whether it's students who maybe took the class a semester or two ago, but you basically get help from them and the instructor is not okay with it. That's what makes it unauthorized. Some instructors are fine with you collaborating. Some are fine with you collaborating on some things and not others. Some are not fine with collaboration at any point. And so if it's not clear in the syllabus, I would encourage you, drop that instructor a message, shoot them an email, say, hey, are you okay with people working together on this? They'll let you know and you'll be good to go. Another one we really commonly have is plagiarism. And so plagiarism is just using the ideas, words, thoughts of others without giving them appropriate credit. And so if you're writing a paper, you are doing anything where you're referring back heavily to previous research, literature, articles, those sorts of things, you need to make sure that you are citing those ideas. And so I would always tell you it is better to oversight than undercite. And so if you're questioning if it's something you need to put a citation for, go ahead and put that citation in there. If it's not clear in your syllabus, again, ask your professor, hey, what citation style do you prefer for this? And they'll let you know and you will be good to go. Another one we have occasionally, mostly because, you know, you're going to get to a point where you kind of decide on a focus area, a concentration, a couple of topics that are part of your overarching degree program that you're really interested in. And so you may think, well, you know, these two classes have an assignment that's pretty similar. I could probably just use that topic I'm really interested in, save myself some time and effort, save myself some work. Sometimes that's okay, but always run it by those two instructors first and kind of talk to them and make sure what they're okay with and what they aren't. You know, they may say, well, you know, if you substantially change it, we're okay. You could use the same topic. They may say, well, you know, my assignment's pretty different from this other one, so you're really going to need to do two separate things. So again, the overarching message is always just clarify. Cheating on examinations does happen some, and I know for you who are online students, you're probably thinking, okay, well, that's probably easier said than done. But of course, there are many ways you can cheat. I'm not going to go into all of those. For those of you who have online proctoring, of course, you know that there's different ways they try to avoid you doing that. But really and truly, just don't do it. It is not worth the repercussion of going through the academic integrity process. Fabricating information, of course, that's never a good thing to do. You know, when you're trying to run through something, when you're trying to get a certain result, if you don't get the result you're looking for, it is always better to go back and try again than to just try to figure out a way to make it look like you got what you were supposed to. You know, if you're really having trouble with it, talk to the graduate assistant in your class. Talk to the professor. Say, hey, this is, you know, what I'm coming up with. What can I do to help fix this? Before you try to fabricate information. Honestly, trying to fabricate actually is usually more work than getting it to go right. So helping another person cheat. This is one that we have had some experience with, unfortunately, here in the School of Business with some of our graduate students. I'll be honest with you guys, this usually starts out as you're trying to help out a friend, you're trying to help out a classmate. Somebody has something traumatic happen in their life. They get really sick. Somebody they love gets really sick. They had to travel unexpectedly for work. And they're running up on a deadline, and usually it'll take the form of, hey, can I look at what you did just to kind of double check that I'm on the right track? You, being a nice, helpful person, think, sure, no big deal. I've already finished mine. I may have already turned mine in. So what's the harm in letting them look at it? The harm in letting them look at it is you don't know what they do with it after that. They can take your work and pass it off as their own. And I'll be real honest with you, we usually catch this. And one of the reasons we do usually catch it is people will do things like forget to update a file name when they upload it. If it is exactly the same as somebody else's, your instructor is going to catch on to those sorts of things. And so I think a lot of times what students don't realize is they are trying to be helpful and help somebody else out, but they are just as liable if that person then turns around and tries to pass off the work as their own. So please, if you are ever in this situation, I know it's hard. We're all nice people. We all want to help somebody out. And we would want somebody to help us out if we needed it too. But you really just need to tell them, you know what, I'm sorry. I can't do that. Our instructor doesn't allow us to do that, and that would be a violation of academic integrity. Again, that is much better than getting basically drug into this process later. Unauthorized advance access to examinations is not as big of a deal as it might used to have been. Occasionally there'll be a system glitch or something where you'll get access to something ahead of time. The other thing to keep in mind, our online students are all over the world. You're all in different time zones. So there could be a situation where perhaps you have access to an exam because of time zone differences before somebody else does. Just be careful you don't share any of that with anybody else. Altering or destroying the work of others, we, thank goodness, have not had a lot of problems with. Altering academic records, that is something that we usually we'll see occasionally in the admissions process with somebody altering a transcript or that sort of thing. But again, the unauthorized collaboration, plagiarism, and helping another person cheat are really kind of the ones we see the most. And, I'll be honest with you. Sometimes people don't realize what they're doing. You don't realize you're helping somebody else cheat. You're not intentionally using the work of somebody else and trying to pass it off as yours in the case of plagiarism. But intent doesn't matter, unfortunately. And so be very careful. The vast majority of our students go through our programs, and this is the only time they ever hear about academic integrity. But we do have a few cases every year, and it's not fun, it's not a good thing, and it's very stressful. So again, if you ever have questions, visit with your instructor. Make sure you're doing the right thing for that class.